Well, the craziness of this election is really just it's really like something that has never been seen before. On the line right now is John Zogby, Zogby Analytics. John, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Bill.
So where do you want to start? Big primary day tomorrow. Let's start on the Democrat side.
Yeah, well, if the polls are to be believed, then Hillary Clinton has a big day tomorrow. But Michigan, the polling in Michigan has people scratching their heads.
Yeah, she was up, 16 points in some polls going in.
To 22.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and she lost. And so, I mean, what we're seeing is Sanders actually leading in Illinois, which is something, and closing in, within single digits in Ohio. Clinton, of course, leading big in Florida, but Sanders has been getting huge crowds at rallies, and so, we could emerge Tuesday with kind of a muddle. Clinton losing perhaps one state, possibly even two. Winning Florida big, but Sanders doing better than expected.
Speaking of Bernie Sanders, I think I was watching, I don't know if it was Meet the Press or somewhere, and he was asked about advisors he would rely on, maybe members of his cabinet, and he mentioned your brother.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
he has met with my brother on a couple of occasions and sought out advice on the Middle East, along with a liberal Jewish organization, J Street. And nice to hear my brother mention. Absolutely.
He's kind of, right now, though, really, he's just, it seems, and we I guess, could all be wrong. I mean, the Democrats could be going through the same thing as the Republicans here. But it seems that he's basically gaining clout when it comes to the convention, that he's going to have a voice in the party.
Yeah, no doubt about that. This is we're calling it, the Elizabeth Warren wing, but it's more than that. It's the traditional liberal progressive wing of the party that generally does go to the convention with a lot of clout. It's just no one really expected the standard bearer to be Bernie Sanders, but he's raising a lot of money, especially when he puts up a win, here and there. He's won 8 out of 18 contests, and frankly, Iowa, had he challenged that, it could have been an even split.
Yeah. All right, onto the Republican side, which is where really the craziness is. I mean, is there what happens? First of all, let's talk about tomorrow. What are your thoughts on tomorrow? Kasich right now, in some polls, they're showing, I think an NBC poll that just came out, they have him up right now.
Yes. Yeah, he's up in Ohio in 3 polls. Cruz is closing in Illinois. It's very close. Trump seems to be far ahead in Florida. That, of course, is 99 delegates, winner take all. And Trump is leading in North Carolina, which has 72 delegates, but is not winner take all. But scenario-wise, if Kasich wins Ohio, that slows Trump down in his tracks. So what's that mean? It means if Trump wins the other states, he has to win about 43, 44% of the remaining delegates available between now and early June to go to the convention with with the majority needed. That is a tall order unto itself, but it's doable.
Yeah.
If Trump loses a second state, let's say it's Florida or even North Carolina, now you're getting to the point where he's got to win 50% of the delegates from here on in. Taller order. If he loses 3 states, suppose Cruz then does win in Illinois, then Trump has to run the board with 63% of the remaining delegates. So if he wins and wins convincingly tomorrow, it's hard, everywhere, hard to see him being stopped. But with each of those scenarios, there's a way to stop him, especially say Rubio drops out after today, they're down to 3 candidates.
I was reading an interesting story from somewhere yesterday on Andrew Jackson, and they're saying that this Trump thing is not the first time this has ever happened. And what happened back then, which ultimately resulted in the Democrat Party.
Yes.
But they talked about how a lesson should be learned there, that it's very difficult to go against the will of the people. So if Trump goes in there with more delegates, how does he not walk out as the nominee?
That's a very good question. And there's no good answer for that. Conceptually, how do you defy the will of the people?
Right.
Like him or not like him, especially since he's running anti-establishment, what could fuel an anti-establishment candidate better than the establishment trying to deny him what he earned? On the other hand, the establishment of the party is concerned about its future, and it should be. In many ways, we need to step back from Donald Trump and Ted Cruz and the candidates and take a look and say, hey, look, we're at an historical moment here. We're watching one of the two big parties really collapse. This was somewhat predictable, but the theatrics probably accelerate it a little bit more.
So now here's the question. So Trump becomes the nominee, the Republican nominee. What's to say that he doesn't have some disgruntled Democrat appeal? What's to say that every Bernie Sanders supporter automatically goes to Hillary? What are your thoughts there?
Look, he can win. Now that I've seen what he is capable of doing, there is plenty of anger. Now, you're hearing from some. The Guardian had a long article. They interviewed several dozen Sanders supporters who identified themselves as jumping to Trump if Sanders doesn't win the nomination. Now, overall, that's only 7 or 8%.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at a close election,
right,
in key states, 7 or 8% looms very, very large.
And finally, with everything going on, you're watching Trump say, "I'm going to pay for the legal fees of the guy that beat up that guy." I mean, this is such a crazy. I've never. It's so unpresidential.
Unpresidential at a moment when he could be savoring his victories and then turning statesman. What he's doing is he's going in the opposite direction, keeping up the fight. Look, no predictions here. We've all been wrong. What you want to say is he can't sustain it, but God, that's what I said last July, August, September. He could be elected.
John Zogby, we appreciate your time this morning. ZogbyAnalytics.com. As always, thanks so much.
Thanks, Bill.
All right. Crazy. Here's some birthdays here. March 14th, Keelan Simpson is celebrating today. 8 years old. Keelan, happy birthday. Miranda Marin in New York Mills. Fran Barbario in Frankfurt. Bob Pipinsick in Utica, happy birthday. And Catherine Polish in Sequoia celebrating as well. We'll give the cake to Catherine Polish. Do I pronounce that right? P-O-L-I-S-H?
Yeah, it's Polish or Polish.
And Keelan Simpson will give the cake to both of these guys from the Florentine Pastry Shop on Bleecker Street. Join our VIP club and submit your birthday online at WIBX950.com or send it a postcard, WIBX Birthdays, 9418 River Road, Marcy, 13403. Coming up, Leon Etienne, the mentalist. We love Leon. Great guy. And he's in...
Illusionist.
Illusionist. He's in China right now performing, which, when you think about it, probably doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but just think about it for a second. It's China. It's China. So there are some language barriers. I wonder how he handles that. We'll speak with Leon from China coming up next on WIBX.